everyone, what's going on? Nexius here on the Legion beta. So I decided to level up a monk to 110. I did all of the questing zones. I wanted to learn them, figure out where all the treasures were so I didn't get lost when the expansion drops on the 30th of August. So since I'm actually learning a lot of different stuff on efficient leveling, I figured maybe I would make you guys a leveling guide. So it's really simple. This is what I run. I don't know if anyone else has a better choice of talents, but for me this seems to be the smoothest. So before we go over, I want to explain to you guys why I'm picking my talents. So for example, our artifact weapon does a lot of AoE damage. It hits all targets around you, and on top of that, the damage does not go down based on how many you hit. So it almost one-shots a single target, and when you grab 8 or 9, it still almost one-shots all of them. So I like to focus around one-shotting a group of mobs, which really speeds up questing, especially if it requires killing mobs. So here's an example of what I do. So let's say Strike of the Windlord, our artifact weapon is off cooldown. What I'll do is I'll take my Crackling Jade Lightning and I'll stutter step with it. I'll just quickly aggro everything like this. If you have been playing Monk for a while, you probably are familiar with this technique. You just simply use Crackling Jade Lightning as an aggro tool to pick up everything in range. Once you have about 8 or so guys on you, what I like to do, since I have powered strikes, my first Tiger Palm will generate 1 chi. This works perfectly with our class because what happens is you Tiger Palm twice, you have exactly 5. This lets you to artifact weapon and a Fist of Fury. Very simple. Now, if you don't have your artifact weapon, you can do that exact same thing, but instead of artifact weapon, you can Sun Kick into Fist of Fury, which will then let you use Dragon Punch. So that's a very good way also for questing. So if you don't have your artifact weapon, a decent single target or even AoE form, what I was using as well is you Tiger Palm twice, it gives you 5 chi, Sun Kick into Fist of Fury. And if somehow any of the mobs live, this is where you would then Dragon Punch, and it should kill them. If somehow they live, you have a mixture of Chi Wave, Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, and Tiger Palm. So you can just finish them off usually in that case. Okay guys, I'm going to show you guys real quick how this build works. Keep in mind, these mobs are now 110 since I'm 110, so they hit a lot harder and stuff because they're scaled for 110. But when I was leveling, this was a lot easier than what it's probably going to look. So what I did is, when I had my Strike of the Windlord up, and holy shit, that's some bad luck, already getting slowed. It's actually not that big of a deal though. You can see here I'm just pulling everything, so I'm just going to keep moving here. Just going to pull a lot more. Just keep pulling all these mobs, that should be enough. I'm going to use a healing elixir. Tiger Palm twice. Once you get a bit closer, we're gonna sweep. Oh yeah, okay, these guys are definitely scaled for 110. So I'm gonna have to actually use cooldowns here. But you guys can see here that I got them really low anyway. Trust me, when you guys use this when you're not 110, these guys pretty much die in 2 hits just from the artifact weapon and Fist of Fury. It's just they're scaled for 110 now, so it's not only do they do a lot more damage, but they have a crap ton of health now. So basically this whole leveling guide, the whole way I leveled really fast is by a mixture of a couple of abilities. Strike of the Windlord and Fist of Fury with AoE. Now if they survive that, I would go into Dragon Punch, which should kill all of them at the same time as well. If you're doing any single target, don't use your Strike of the Windlord unless they are like a quest mob with a lot of health. I try and say this specifically for AoE occasions, which is a lot, so whenever it's off cooldown, that's when I choose to AoE. I usually use Rising Sun Kick instead. So I'll show you guys again right here. Tiger Palm twice, Sun Kick, Fist of Fury. Once that ends, just like this, you go into Dragon Strike. That will usually kill every single quest mob, at least until about 107. Then they start getting a little bit harder, but still they pretty much die very quickly. Now in terms of the talent guide, it's focusing around this strategy that I have chosen to use. Chi Wave is good for single target because in leveling, just like Warlords of Draenor or Mists of Pandaria, rare mobs like these guys right here, all these rares are going to be all over the place. So you want to take them out as much as you can because they give you artifact power to level up your artifact and obtain talents, and they also give you order resources for progressing in through your order hall, also known as your garrison basically. So killing rares, finding treasures are very important while questing. Even if you hit 110, you probably want to go back and kill them all and collect those treasures as well. So what I do here for elites is this is where I save Touch of Death. Don't use Touch of Death on a normal mob. It takes 8 seconds for Touch of Death to go off. You can usually kill a mob in about 5 or so seconds, so you don't really need Touch of Death unless it's on like a rare. I save it for rares all the time. So what I'll do is I'll Tiger Palm twice, Touch of Death into Storm, Earth, and Fire, pop my Legendary Ring into Artifact, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm into Fist of Fury, into a Dragon Punch, and then into your Chi Wave. And then you can continue on here with your single target rotation. That's how I usually deal with elites and, well, not really elites, but the rare mobs and any quest mobs that have a lot of health that will survive your main single target burst or whatever that you usually do. That's usually what I set up with. It's just really good. I save Stormwrath on Fire and Touch of Death for most rares. I don't use them on regular mobs at all because I can two-shot them like with just Fist of Fury and what's the other one? Windlord. Even Fist of Fury and Dragon Punch, those alone will kill mobs easily as well. So you really don't have to commit all of your resources to those. I prefer to commit my resources to all the rare mobs because there are a lot. So I want to make sure that I spend as little time on those rares as possible. And that's where those cooldowns and Legendary Ring come in. Okay, I see a rare mob up here. We have a rare mob that patrols this road that I have not killed yet. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to open up with a Touch of Death into a Stormwrath and Fire into my Legendary Ring. And then that's when I use my artifact weapon, Fist of Fury, into Sun Kick. Something like that. It's roughly around that. It does not have to be 100%. Just make sure you have most of it timed. So I'll show you guys right here. So we go in, Tiger Palm twice for 5 chi. Touch of Death, Stormwrath and Fire, Legendary Ring, Artifact, Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury. Once this is done, we're going to Dragon Punch. I'm going to Karma here because he's whirlwinding. Put some damage on him. Look at that, easy. 100 rare, done. Easy. No challenge. So that's single target potential. That's what I run when it comes to finding rares, because rares usually have a lot more health than a regular quest mob like these guys. So Touch of Death just isn't worth using on these guys when it's a 2-minute cooldown. I'd rather save that cooldown for the rares, because then they go down a lot quicker. That saves you time spent on the rares, and then you can get back to questing. So that's why I deem it worth saving Touch of Death, your Stormwrath and Fire, and your Ring on those. The only time you really want to use like a Stormwrath and Fire or something on mobs is if you find that you're struggling to kill them, and that's when you want to use it just to help you get out of there and not die. But in most cases, I did not require that. I was able to two-shot most mobs up until at least 107, so we can get back to the main part of the guide now. Now, in terms of the defensives, we have Leg Sweep and Healing Elixir. When you're AoE pulling with like 8 mobs at a time for Windlord, they can do a lot of damage, so Leg Sweeping them will give you 5 seconds to kill them, which is usually the duration of a Fist of Fury and Windlord, so it's like perfect timing. Leg Sweep is perfect for that. In terms of Healing Elixir, it's the same thing. In case you need any backup healing, it's just the better choice over the other two. There is no case where I actually found these two better than Healing Elixir, so sticking with Healing Elixir is the best choice. For 9DF hit combo, you could go Rushing Jadewind for AoE, but like I said earlier, same reason as Chi Burst not being taken is that we have enough AoE as it is, so it's better to just build up your single target for those mobs where you don't AoE. I think it's a better choice to do that. If you're facing a rare as well, hit combo gets more value because it takes a little bit more time to kill them, which overall will allow you to generate more stacks. So I feel that hit combo and Chi Wave are better than Chi Burst and Rushing Jade, simply because we already have the AoE from Dragon Punch and Windlord and Fist of Fury. Now, in terms of Chi Orbit and Serenity, I don't think they're as valuable as Dragon Punch, as I just stated. It works very well for AoE pulls, and it's even very good against rares and other single target forms as well. Most importantly, the cooldown is very short. So that's overall the talent build that I'm running. That's the overall strategy that I'm running for leveling. Let's take a look at our artifact. Alright, so looking at the artifact, the first thing I noticed is that most of the stuff at the top right doesn't really do too much for your damage. A lot of it is basic, like Tiger Palm damage, Spinning Crane Kick damage. They're not really that great, to be honest, compared to Rising Sun Kick damage, a very hard-hitting ability, good Karma, which allows your Touch of Karma to heal you, Touch of Death cooldown being reduced, which is really good because you're killing a lot of rares. This is where you want to use Touch of Death. You want to kill them within a Touch of Death. By doing that, you will be able to reset it to a low cooldown. That way, by the time you come across another rare, you can use your Touch of Death again. 10% dodge isn't too big of a deal, but it does help in terms of surviving against quest mobs too, I guess. And Gale Burst is really good for burst damage as well with Touch of Death. The other important thing about this build choice I have here, where I go from Dark Skies to Rising Sun to Good Karma, then backtracking down to Death Art, Light on Your Feet, and Gale Burst, what I then do next is go up this way, and then eventually I'll go around like this. The reason why I'm going to do that is because right here, this is also probably the best build for 110 as well, not just for leveling, so that's what I'm rolling with as well. It's going to save me from having to reset my talents. I think that's pretty much it, discussing my strategy, all that stuff. I do have a couple tips as well. I gave you guys my rotation, the strategy I'm using. The only thing left I can tell you guys really is make sure to use your mobility to get to places quick. Like, for example, if you're going into a cave, which will happen a lot, if you're going into a cave, or let's say you're on top of a boat. There was this one point in Stormheim where I was on top of a boat and I had to jump in the water. We all know how slow we move in water, right? So what I did is I placed my Transcendence on the boat, jumped down, collected a treasure, and ported right back up. That way, I did not have to swim back, which saved me a lot of time. So, little things like that will save you a lot of time as you quest. Don't forget to use your rolls and your Flying Serpent kicks as well. So, it's very important to do that. Same with your Tiger's Lust if you're running that, if you choose to. Like I said, this is my preferred build. If you guys have any questions regarding the leveling build, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. See ya.